Why did I agree to do this? Have you seen the resources list for this build? It's literally a double chest. Like, this is ridiculous. Why am I going to spend the time building this? Well, because I felt bad. I just did a showcase video last time for this 20x20 portal after doing a bunch of tutorials. I think I also accidentally put it in the tutorials playlist. I might have to change that. But yeah, we are here for the tutorial for the 20x20 nether portal. So, time to lose a bunch of my life. Why do I do this? So now remember that water buckets and flint and steel exist. Here are the full resources. So we have 5 stacks and 52 redstone dust. You know, just casually. 3 stacks and 15 pistons. Yep. 3 stacks and 6 obsidian. Have fun mining that. 3 stacks and 58 slime. Hope you got a farm. 3 stacks and 58 honey blocks. The poor bees that had to work for this door. 64 and 36 target blocks. We had to close down every archery range in the area. 5 redstone blocks, 20 redstone torches, 51 repeaters, 2 observers, 2 dispensers, a water bucket and a flint and steel. And these have to be dispensers, not droppers, because droppers don't do the portal light and the portal destroy with the water and the flint and steel. They'll just throw the items out. So the space you're going to need is, once you build your 20x20 portal, it actually only sticks out as far as the portal on each side, which is kind of impressive. It also doesn't stick out above the portal. It only goes as high as the portal goes. So if you did a ceiling over the portal, that would go over the entire thing. I have made it faster than last time, so it actually activates a bit faster and slower as well. And behind your portal, you're going to need 6 blocks of space. So from the portal, you go another 6 blocks. You also need 1 block in front of it for your wall and the pistons underneath. But that's it. That's all the space you need. So just the portal, you got to go 2 blocks underneath, 1 block in front, 6 blocks behind it. And again, that's not including the block the portal is in. And obviously the portal is 20 blocks wide. So we're going to start by building our monumental portal like that. And then you don't have to put anything in the corners. You can just do those as blocks. And you probably want to double and triple check that you've got the right amount of blocks, because otherwise you're going to start building a giant door using a ridiculous amount of resources and then hate your life. 18, 20, okay, good, our portal's the right size. Now on to the fun part. So pistons, we're going to start off by doing the bottom ones. We're going to go to the front of the portal, and then on the last obsidian on each side we're going to do a block underneath. Then we're going to do pistons aiming upwards along the entire front. I'm not going to bother putting any of the blocks in that actually cover up the portal for the moment, because basically you'd have blocks on top of these that push up. But I'm just going to leave them for now, so that I can just test that everything works. Okay, now we can destroy our blocks that, you know, I didn't actually use. Go me. And our input is on the right side. So what we do is, next to this piston, we do a block underneath to the side with a redstone dust. Then we do a block with redstone, then a block to the side with a repeater. That goes into a block next to the piston. Then we go 14 blocks below the pistons like this. And then redstone on all of those. Now we're going to do a block going backwards, 1 to the side, with redstone and a repeater. That's going to go into a block. Then next to the repeater and the piston, we're going to do a block. Then next to the block the repeater goes into, we're going to do a block next to the pistons again. We do 2 like this, with a redstone on this one. Another repeater on this one. And sorry, we've already made a mistake, but this redstone and repeater, we actually have to move them 1 block backwards. So like this, but it's the same layout with the block between the repeater and the piston. And then the block next to it, next to the piston. And we just have 3 blocks here instead of 2, with redstone and a repeater on the last one, going into a block, with a block to the side, 1 block below, to connect to this piston. And the reason why we had to move it 1 block backwards is there's a piston here that does 1 dispensers. So that would affect it if it was here. Okay, so obviously if we turn this on now, all of these pistons should turn on. If they don't, you've missed something, but just, you know, double check it. Make sure all those are on. Dispensers. Okay, so for the dispensers, what we're going to do is, next to this repeater on the input side, we're going to do a sticky piston aiming upwards. And then we go all the way to the other side, and next to this repeater at the end, we also do a sticky piston aiming upwards. Now we're going to put blocks above both of those, then a dispenser on top. Then you can destroy those blocks underneath. Okay, next to this first piston on the input side, we do a block with a repeater on 3 ticks of delay. That goes into a block. then a block to the side of the piston with a repeater on its full delay that gets powered by the first one. That then goes into a block that has a torch to the side, so that piston now goes up. Now we're going to go 14 blocks, so including the first one, so just an extra 13 blocks. 6, 11, 12, 13. And then 14, like that. And then there's redstone on all of these blocks. Then that goes into a block with a torch. Then blocks going across like this. And that powers the second piston with the dispenser. Okay, and because we need these to stay down, so if we turn it on at the moment, they go down, but they come back up pretty fast after we turn it off. And we need them to come back up after the entire door has gone away, which takes a while, so we have to add a delay. So for our delay, we go to this block on the input side, we do a torch at the back, then we do a repeater coming out of that torch on its full delay, that goes into a block. Then to the side, we have 3 repeaters on their full delay. You might be able to reduce this now that I've made the rest of the door faster, but I'm just leaving it as is because it works. So you make these repeaters go into a block with a torch on the side, and then we just have a couple of redstone dust going into a block, and then to the side we have a repeater on 2 ticks of delay. Okay, lastly we're going to do the stuff that activates the dispenser. So the one on the right is a water bucket, which will destroy the portal, and the one on the left is flint and steel, which will light it. So to do the water dispenser side, on the input side, above the first bit of redstone here, you do an observer aiming upwards into the obsidian. Then above this repeater, you do an observer aiming upwards into a redstone. So the first observer activates that redstone through the obsidian, the second one activates it from this repeater, and that will sell off the dispenser twice, which will trick out water and pull it back to break the portal. So if I put a couple of items in here, they get sent out, and then when we turn it off, it does nothing. There you go. And also, the one that lights the portal, we want it to shoot out an item, or, you know, trigger the flint and steel when it comes back up. So to do that, we just put a redstone torch on the obsidian at the back here. So if I put an item in that now, when we turn it off and it comes back up, an item comes out. Okay, and then we're just going to put obsidian between these dispensers to hide all the redstone. Okay, next we're going to do all the slime and honey, which is so fun. So luckily the slime and honey blocks are just a repeating pattern. What you want to do is go to your dispenser, do 2 blocks behind it, and then we're just going to start with honey, and we'll do 2 blocks like that, and then 3 blocks going up. So we've got this owl shape. Then we're going to continue this the entire length of the door, alternating between slime and honey blocks. So you need to do that until you reach the end. Then on top of it, you do another owl shape with slime this time at the start. So it's the opposite one. Then honey, then slime, and then you do the next layer. And you go 4 blocks up, 1 at the back to make the owl shape again. And you alternate between slime and honey. And again, you have to do this the entire length of the door. I can't be bothered at the moment. I'm just going to copy and paste it with a structure block. But you know, you just kind of carry on doing this. And you have to do it 5 times. So the top one is 1 block shorter because we have these pistons at the bottom that push the first set of blocks out. So that's kind of what you'd have, except the entire length of the door. Be right back as I go and do that. And okay, that's what your finished thing should look like. Okay, next we're going to do the pistons attached to the slime. So what you do is you go 3 blocks back from the bottom of each owl. You're going to do a bunch of blocks. And this is so you can make 2 pistons aim at the back. Can I stop getting stuck on honey for a second? There we go. So along the entire back we just do pistons. And then in front of those we got more pistons aiming forwards. And make sure they're all aiming forwards before you set off any redstone. So like that, and then you can destroy the blocks at the back. And then you just got to do that for every single set of blocks that sticks out 20 times. You're welcome. And okay, that's what it looks like when you've done all the pistons at the back. Hope you had fun. Now we're going to grab some obsidian to do some of the first bits for the redstone. So on top of the back of every owl shape, you're going to go along the entire thing and just place obsidian. And that's because it powers the second piston when it gets pushed to here to push everything into the door to cover up the portal. Alright, now you're going to want to get some redstone and place that along the entire length of this obsidian as well. And you've got to do that for every level. Like that. And then we're also going to do something really weird. If you'll look on this, the back pistons actually have redstone along them. So we're going to go to the piston at the back in every set of pistons and we're going to put redstone along it along the entire length of the door. like that. So we've done with that. Now the final bit of redstone that activates these double extenders is going to be to activate this piston in the middle to pull everything back for one last time. So it's kind of like this piston pushes, this one pushes, but then when they pull back, this slime will actually be like there instead of being there. So we need to pull it back one block. And to do that we go underneath the middle piston on every set of pistons, and we do a target block. So there you go, that's what it looks like. Okay, now next to all the target blocks we're going to go one block below and do a line of blocks. So basically just place blocks above the redstone on the back pistons like this. And then there's going to be redstone all along those. Like that. Okay, now we're just going to connect this lines of redstone up to the original input, and we're going to make all the timing right so that these double extenders go out and come back as we want them to. So we're going to use a torch tower up the side. If we look on the original one, we've got this torch tower going up the entire side. And to that we're going all the way back to our input, and above this first torch that's on the right side, we're going to do a block, then a redstone torch on top that should be off, then obsidian, a torch to the side which will be on. Then we're going to do a block above that torch with a torch to the side again, and that'll power this line of redstone with a block. Now it won't go along the entire length because it's 20 blocks long, so we'll have to add some repeaters as well, but that's what we got so far. And then we do a torch above this block as well, then a redstone block with a torch above, then a block. Then we do a torch to the side with a normal block above to power this line of redstone, and again we'll use repeaters to make sure it does the entire length. Then we do the same thing with torch, block, torch, block, torch to the side, block above it to power that redstone, torch, block, torch, block, torch to the side with block, torch, block, torch, block, and these blocks next to the slime and honey all have to be obsidian. That's why I'm using obsidian, sorry if I forgot to mention. Then our final torch to the side to power this line of redstone. So the top one is going to be a bit different to the rest of them. At the top we go next to this off torch, put a block with a redstone. Then we're going to do a block going up, and then we do 2, 3, 4 blocks with redstone along them. Now you're going to have to place blocks above this redstone on the obsidian to stop these two lines of redstone connecting. And that's because this redstone on the wall then goes into a block with a repeater on the other side. And I just realised on the resources, I remembered like how many stacks of redstone there were. I counted the pistons and things, hopefully I was right. But I forgot one slab. There's one slab on the resources. Except wait, I just realised if I replace this block in front of the repeater with a block with redstone on it, I don't need a slab. Checkmate me in the past. So that's what this bit looks like. It's a bit weird, but the whole point of this repeater is just so the redstone connecting here goes all the way to the end. Okay, because of the torch tower, the bill at the top is going to go off quite a bit after the bit at the bottom, because each torch adds like a repeater on its default worth of delay. So we're just going to add repeaters to power each bit that delays it by the amount we need. So for the first set, we're going to go next to this off torch with a block and redstone, and I'm actually going to place this in reverse order because I can't get inside there, obviously. So I'm going to have to break this for now, but that's what we're going to do. That redstone is going to power the stuff. So what we want to do is walk inside under the target blocks, go 6 blocks forward. So this is the 6th piston along, and we're going to place a block under the target block next to this redstone. Then we're going to do a block with a repeater, then a block behind that, then 2 blocks with repeaters on top of them. Then we're going to do a block behind this repeater, and then our block next to the off torch with redstone dust. And there's now 3 ticks of delay because at the top we've got 1 repeater and 2 torches compared to this level, which means that this redstone goes on 3 sort of redstone repeaters of delay after the one underneath. So that's why we have to add the 3 redstone repeaters. Same for the next level, so if we go down another level, we go again to the 6th piston along, so 3, 4, 5, 6. Do a block above it, then we do a block 1 block back with repeater on its default, then a block behind it, then 2 blocks with repeaters. Except this time, we're going to have to add another 2 delay for the torches, because there's 2 torches between this level and the next. So we're going to have to put this last repeater on 3 ticks of delay, so 1 from the end, block behind it, block next this torches off, and redstone dust. Going to the next level, we do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we do a block next to redstone under the target block, go 1 block back with a repeater, block behind it, 2 blocks. Now we again need 2 ticks more delay than the one above, like 2 redstone repeaters of delay. So when we place our 2 repeaters, so these actually both need to be on 3. So these both need to be 1 from the end, because that's adding 2 delay. So place our block behind this again, and we'll put our block with the redstone. Now we're going to go down, and this last one we have to do. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and do our block. But this time we need to make the 3rd repeater also 2 more ticks of delay. So instead of being on its default, it's now 1 from the end. Then we do a block behind, then 2 blocks with repeaters, and they're both going to be 1 from the end. So every layer we've done, we've added 2 ticks of repeater delay, block behind it, block next this redstone torch, redstone dust, and that should power all of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to flick the lever, and nothing should push forward because we haven't actually powered any of the pistons yet, but what we're going to do is go to the back, and we're going to check that all of the redstone at the end of each line of obsidian is powered, because that means we put the repeaters in the right place, and then we're going to turn it back off. Okay, so the next thing we've got to do is power the back bit of redstone and also the redstone next to target blocks. So the first one we're going to want to turn on is the one above the back piston, so they push everything out. Then we want to power the target blocks, and that's because we want them to be the last things to turn off, because we want these pistons to turn off, pull these pistons back onto the target blocks. So then these pistons will extend, they'll grab the slime that's here, and then the target block redstone will turn off, meaning the slime will be pulled back to where it started. So what we do is we go to the end of every line of obsidian, and we do a block. Then we do a block going backwards, with a repeater on its default, going into a block. Then on the other side, we do a line of 5 blocks with redstone on top of them. Then we have blocks above the piston redstone to stop it connecting to this redstone. Then we go 1 block down next to the piston, we do a repeater on 2 ticks, and then that goes into a block that powers this redstone. Again, we use a repeater that's gone 6 blocks into the redstone, so that it powers all 20 blocks of redstone, because redstone only goes 15 blocks from a repeater or from a lever, so we have to account for that. And also, because we've got a repeater on its default, and then one that's delayed by 1, so we've gone 1 bit extra delay. That means there's 3 total repeater delay, which is how much we need for these to go off reliably. And okay, we're going to have to do this on every level. So go obsidian redstone on the other side of the input, that goes into a block. A repeater on its default, aiming to the back, into a block. Then on the other side, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of redstone. And now the blocks next to target blocks are luckily stopping the piston redstone connecting, but that means that the redstone tries to connect to that, so we need to put blocks above those. Then we go 1 block down with a repeater on 2 ticks of delay, so 1, just click it once. That goes into a block to power all the redstone above the pistons, and we're going to do the same thing on the next level. So 5 blocks across at the back, redstone, make sure to block it off so it's not connecting to the target block stuff. Then 1 block down with 2 tick repeater into block. And here's the final one. Bam, the block is now in place. So if I pull the lever, all this slime and honey should push forward and then go. And then it won't go back because we haven't powered the other pistons, but now we'll notice if we turn it off. Firstly, you want to make sure it all goes off at the same time, but secondly, like I said, the pistons pull back and pull the slime 1 block back, but these middle pistons with the target blocks, they need to be set off to do it a final time. So that's what we're going to do now. So this is relatively simple. We just go to the input block side, so the side with the torch tower, and the redstone that goes along the back of the pistons. At the end of it, we make it go into a block. Then we do a sticky piston aiming down with a redstone block. Then, next to the redstone next to the target blocks, we do 3 blocks like this, missing out the middle. Then we do blocks 1 block up in the middle, and then 3 repeaters like this, and then a final block at the end repeater to make it power all the redstone. And again, we just have to make it go across so it powers all this redstone. Unfortunately, in Bedrock Edition, you can't put redstone like... Unfortunately, we can't make it faster because, like, ideally I'd want less delay than this, but if I put any redstone here, which is how you'd make it faster, it would go through the piston and connect to the redstone underneath. So the only way I can make it go far enough and not create an infinite loop with the repeater powering the redstone here, going back to this redstone and, you know, powering the repeater again, is by doing these repeaters of delay. So it's 5 ticks of delay instead of 3, which is the ideal, but that was the only way I could keep it as small as it is. So we just copy this every level. Redstone on the piston goes into a block with a sticky piston and redstone block, and then next target blocks we do our 3 blocks with the repeaters, and then a block in front of every repeater, like that. It doesn't matter that kind of this bit gets powered first, then this bit, then this bit. All that matters is that it goes off at the same time, and this redstone along the entire thing will only go off when the last repeater turns off. Same on the next one. And the last one. And I forgot to do the blocks with redstone next to these target blocks. My god, building this is such a pain. Alright, so that should be the entire thing done. I kind of wish I'd used a different colour of wall for this bit because it's, you know, it's different from this bit, but oh well, it looks aesthetic. And that's our entire door. So I kind of guarantee you've got some of the repeaters wrong. The main thing is, again, you just turn the lever and see if all of the stuff comes out at the same time. And then does it go back at the same time? That looks like it does. The problem is, if your Minecraft is laggy, then you won't be able to see it properly. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to test it by it breaking. The easiest way to test it is when you change where is slime and where is honey. Just do a line of blocks along the entire... Actually, you only have to do it on one of them. But I'll do it on all of them, just because then you can spot the most errors. So just do different coloured blocks on the split between the slime and the honey. Because you're going to have to remove these if something is timed wrong. So here's the last one. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that all of the honey, even with those blocks, goes out and comes back. Because if any of it is out of time with each other, then the slime and honey of one below or above is going to stick to these blocks, and that means it will have too many blocks, it can't push them. It'll mean that they sort of get stuck on each other, so you might also want to just add on one of the layers, just do on one side 2 blocks, so do blocks going up the entire thing. And we'll just flick the lever and see if everything goes back as it should. Yep. Also, another common problem is if you didn't add the delay to the dispensers or did something wrong, the dispensers will get stuck to it. And then you just need to check that all these repeaters at the back are correct. Like that. And make sure you didn't forget the torch that powers this dispenser to power flint and steel. And now we're going to test it again by turning it off, and in the dispensers I'm going to put a bunch of random items, and I'm going to make sure that when I turn it on and off, 2 items get chucked out at the start, as in that'll be the water breaking the portal, and then I'm going to put a bunch of items in the dispenser to see if they get set off once to light the portal. Because I don't want this dispenser with the water going off at a different time, because if it went off when it was like down here, then it'll chuck the water bucket out, and if it went off too many times it might flood things. So, well, 2 items came out, and then we'll turn it off. Hopefully no more items come out. No, they didn't, but 1 did come out on the flint and steel side. Again, if any of this got stuck on itself, you just need to go into the back, probably these bits with the 3 repeaters powering the obsidian redstone, and check that all the timings are as they were when I did them. And you got to remember you're adding 2 each time, except for the first one. You're adding 3 ticks because there's the 2 torches plus a repeater, whereas on every other level there's just 2 torches between them. Woo, over-explaining giant doors. Okay, so dispenser on the right, we're now going to christen it with the water bucket. Don't put any other items in because then it might randomly activate those, which will mean the water doesn't go off. And then dispenser on the left, I just fill it with flint and steel. And the reason I fill it with flint and steel is because you're probably going to have to replace it a lot because flint and steel runs out fairly fast. I mean, if you want to be really dedicated, you can just add a hopper somewhere to fill it up. So you could do one at the back here and just have a chest of flint and steels to fill it up. You know, if you want to build that much flint and steel, you build this much slime and honey, you may as well. There you go. Pro tip, just do a hopper at the back. Actually, let's check. Does Bedrock Edition push hoppers? Because that's the kind of shenanigans that would happen in Bedrock Edition, right? Oh my god. Hoppers can be pulled by pistons in Bedrock Edition. Why? Why is it like this? That's kind of amazing and opens up so many possibilities and also mind-numbingly frustrating. How is Bedrock Edition so amazing and horrifying at the same time? That's incredible. They'll open so many possibilities up. I don't know, maybe I should do a build using hoppers being pushed around. That's crazy. I mean, dispensers being pushed around is already crazy because it means you can just make like a mobile TNT cannon without duping. But as you can see, the portal is lit and then it also closes away. And now you can fill in your blocks, so they'd be above these pistons, you'd have blocks. And then all of this stuff in the middle would be blocks as well on all the slime and honey. I can't be bothered to fill them all in, so I'm leaving it like this. And it'll be hidden in a wall, which would go around and hide the portal like this. And your floor would be in front of these pistons here. Lastly, because people always want to know, how do you activate this with a button? So you're going to need droppers this time and not dispensers. And you go to your input. You do a dropper aiming upwards with a dropper aiming sideways with a hopper aiming into the bottom dropper. Then we do a comparator aiming into a block next to the first piston instead of the redstone. So we just got this one redstone here. You put an item in the bottom dropper, just one, can be any item. And then you do a block with a repeater aiming into the top dropper, and then if you power that with a temporary redstone signal like an observer, a button, a pressure plate, things like that, then it'll toggle between being on and off. Obviously you should wait for the entire door to activate before pressing it again. And there you go. Here's your crazy gigantic hidden portal. Hope you enjoyed this, because I didn't. It was a load of effort and took ages. But it's kind of repeated, so it's a bit therapeutic after a bit. But anyway, I've been Idendie, this has been Giant Nether Portal, and if you want to support my dumb face making these videos, I've got Patreon linked in the comment below. And there's also a world download with these builds. I'm going to update it soon so that it's got this 2020 portal in it, because it doesn't at the moment. But it should do by the time this video's up. And I'll see you in the next one. Adios.